Hey there gang, Patrick King here, coming at you with another live Q&A video. Today we've got a question that comes into us from Michelle. Michelle sends in, I've had my 14-year-old quarter horse for about 6 months and I'd like to start trailering him off the property. What would you suggest to be a good first, second, and third outing to make it a fun and safe experience for both of us? This is a great question, Michelle, and I'm really glad that you're planning ahead. And this is actually a question that I do get asked frequently. So if I was going to give you advice for a good first, second, or third outing, different places to go, I guess maybe a good place to suggest would be going to a friend's barn. Someplace that it's kind of chill, where you're not feeling pressured. Maybe go take a lesson or a clinic with a trainer or a clinician that you trust and let them know that that's your goal for going there for that lesson. Another place that I'd recommend, and oftentimes I recommend this as the first trailer ride for any horse, is go nowhere. Go nowhere. Either hang out in the trailer right there, not going anywhere at all, or maybe go down the street, go for ice cream, go grab dinner somewhere, go somewhere where you've got plenty of time with your horse in the trailer that he can relax and unlock, unwind, just kind of settle. The relaxation is a big piece. And then go home. That's something that I like to do with a lot of horses for their first ride out, whether it's a new horse to me or a horse that has not really had much loading experience, is go somewhere on a long enough drive that they can relax. One thing I find problematic is when folks drive to the end of the driveway and back. Oftentimes that's just long enough of a drive to get the horse upset, but not long enough to help them relax in the trailer. And that's going to be something that I find very important, is make sure that the ride is long enough for the horse to relax. If you're driving carefully, I'm assuming that we're driving carefully and it's on safe roads and all of those things. If we're driving like a maniac and we're driving on terribly bumpy roads or terribly windy roads, it's probably going to be really hard for the horse to relax. So make sure that we go long enough that he can relax and the drive is safe and careful. A couple tips that I would definitely recommend, though, regardless of where you're going, regardless of how you're doing this, is make sure, first and foremost, on your first several trips, make sure you've got plenty of time to load and unload. There's no bigger drama or challenge that I see for folks with their horses when it comes to trailer loading is waiting until they have to leave at this time. And then of course they're stressed and their horse gets stressed and they get worried and they get anxious and they get to trying to shove their horse onto the trailer. And even the horses that, oh, he's never had a loading problem, suddenly he's got a loading problem because we've got an agenda, we've got a timeline, and we're going to be late. So make sure wherever you're going, you give yourself plenty of time. There's nothing wrong with showing up 3 hours early, right? But there's plenty wrong with trying to shove your horse onto the trailer because now you're anxious and now you're causing a problem. So make sure you've got plenty of time for loading and unloading and then reloading also when it comes time to come home. If you're taking your horse for a lesson or a clinic or a trail ride or wherever you're going, whatever you're doing, make sure, at least for these first several rides, until you know that your horse is confident and you know that you're confident hauling out, make sure that the work that you do when you arrive, wherever you're arriving, that it's easy work, fairly easy work at least, within the fitness level and the education level of your horse. If you take your horse someplace new and you work him near to death, or you work him to exhaustion, or you really stretch and stress his brain, that's probably going to be a horse that doesn't want to climb on that trailer next time. Maybe that's going to be to go home, or maybe that's going to be to go to your next outing. It's hard to tell. Make sure always that it's a safe and calm experience. A calm experience. I can't stress that enough. If you want to go to your friend's barn, but let's say your friend is crazy, wild, nervous. Let's pick a different friend, right? Don't go someplace where they're going to be fretting about your experience. Go somewhere, if you're talking about going to a friend's barn, go somewhere where your friend has lots of experience loading, lots of experience hauling, and they can support you in that. Maybe they can even help you with kind of a convoy, right? They can come and see you out from your barn to theirs to make sure that your experience also driving that rig or hauling your horse is going to be a safe one. And, you know, another thing to be sure of is make sure that when you get where you're going, You've got lots of soft and focused time to help your horse to settle in, okay? So that you're not unloading from the trailer and you're rushing to your class at a horse show, or you're getting out of the trailer and you're rushing your horse into the clinic or something like that. Make sure you've got plenty of time to meander. There is no harm, as I said earlier, there's no harm in having lots of extra time available to you. It's way better to have time to roam around than it is to be short on time and be rushing to get to whatever you need to do or to whatever your plans were. You know, horses thrive on boredom, so take your horse somewhere and let him hang out for an hour or 5, and then load him back in the trailer and go home. So his association to that experience is, meh, it was nothing exciting, right? Horses thrive on boredom. They thrive on relaxation. So let's take them there for those first few rides, or the first few 100 rides. If your horse is stressed out and really needs a lot of time, that might be stressing a few hundred, but whatever. Go as long or as many times as you need to until your horse can really relax and unwind. So with that note, if you're new to your horse, if you're new to horsemanship or training, it might be a good idea to have a trainer or a more experienced friend on hand with you. I think that's something important that some folks might need to consider as well. So, Michelle, I hope this was helpful to you, and for anybody hauling a horse out there, your new horse or first several experiences with your horse, hopefully this gives you something to think about. So, as always, if you have any questions, please feel free, submit them in the comments section below here, or send us a direct message or an email or a pigeon or a smoke signal, whatever. If you found this helpful, please let me know that in the comment section below here. If you have a friend that might be interested in hearing this, please tag them in the video here below in the comments, or share this video directly with them. I'd really appreciate that. And don't forget, guys, you keep asking questions, I'll keep talking about horses. Thanks so much.